I always wondered when I first heard about the playoffs, how in the world would this work? And between the College Football Playoff Committee, all the people that did all this work, and then obviously Jerry Jones Stadium, and it's been a great trip for our players. Also, I do want to recognize Mark and the job that Oregon, a program that I know very well, studied them for many years, and have tremendous respect for really Eugene, Oregon, the way they handle their business and the way they coach, obviously. So this is a great matchup. It's college football history. It's a game that I've devoted a good portion of my life to, and same with our coaches, and now our players can say they played in the first college football playoff of college playoff national title. So it's something we take very serious, and we're very honored to be here. I do expect Braxton to return. Second, Cardell, when he took over the game, actually in the rivalry game, the confidence wasn't there for us to call a typical game against Wisconsin. If you really broke that down, we didn't really allow him to do very limited role as far as what, and he played great. I mean, lights out. Against Alabama, pretty much the entire, we let him go play, and then this one, he's got it all as far as really everything. So his preparation, the way he handled it, he's an incredible practice player that I really have not seen him that way. And his, before the Alabama Wednesday practice, I remember walking off the field again, looking at Tom and just saying, my goodness, that's one of the best practices I've ever seen a player have. So he's got the keys to the car, and the way he handles his business is is extraordinary. The change he's made in his approach to the game. Really, something happened in the last couple months. I know he had a little baby girl. I know there's been some. Everybody in life has a chance to push restart. Not many people on a grand stage like Cardell has, and he pushed restart and he hit the right button. And it's called selfless approach, and a very serious approach to how he handles his business off the field and on the field. So that's one of the great stories in college football, and one of the great stories that I've witnessed. And like I told people, this should be, of all the things that my children learn in school, I want them to read about the case study of Cardell Jones, because it's a great one. It's a great one for everybody to read. Our number one concern is their quarterback. I mean, it is what it is, that we're facing that's true, and those are all addressed, but those aren't quite as serious if that kid behind center for Oregon's not who he is. And so that's our biggest concern. The wear and tear, I think that has more to do with the practice, the approach was drastically different than anything that we have ever done as far as the practice routine. Really leading up, not just this week, but leading up to the Alabama game too. And we just don't have the depth right now that probably most teams don't. But the scout team issues, those are all issues that you handle more in practice. So I think the wear and tear during the course of the game, it's unique because it's a very high-tempoed offense. But our biggest concern is that guy receiving the snap every play. I think he's one of the finest that's ever played the game. We have worked very hard on it, and I think the culture that Oregon's created is something I've studied in great detail. And I say culture because that's what it is. Ohio State has this culture, and so does Oregon, and so do all the great programs. Programs without culture, that's when you start to see failure. So it's driven. I think there's a misunderstanding of their culture where they play fast, they do everything fast, the way they handle their business, and that's something that we've beaten into our players, or not beaten in, but hard conversation. Also, the fine line in this is real. This is our 22nd week of football. How do you get a team ready? The good thing is it's not completely foreign to our players because we operate at a good tempo as well. But this one's different. We have the shot clocks up. We have a lot of emphasis about defeating the demon that takes place when fatigue takes over, and that's real. And that's something that we've addressed really hard. But ultimately, it comes down to those young guys out there playing on tomorrow night. He's a guy that was committed to Ohio State before we got there. A guy that was not very highly recruited. You could tell right away, very talented guy. He's still growing into who he was as a person. Arguably the best family, one of the best families I've ever been around, and just started to grind and work. And I think through the internet I saw a couple pictures of what he looked like and now he looks like now. And he's got multiple job offers waiting for him when he's done playing college football. One of those job offers will be in the NFL. I mean, that's how how much he's improved. So he's what college football is all about. He's a kid that when my son, who's a freshman in high school now, my son gets to spend time with guys like Josh Perry, because I think that's critical that he's around those kind of guys. And it's not surprising when I see how he has the incredible ability to make someone's day a little brighter, and he takes that very serious. That's the essence of a good team. If you can hit the storm and come out the other end stronger, that's called a real team. And how many are those out there? I've done this 30 years and probably can count them on one hand.